Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Today is Tuesday. I know I promised a video for yesterday, but fortunately, I was not able to get around to it. I need to get some sleep. However, I wanted to talk to you about the recent dip you've probably seen in the Bitcoin. Not all the coins have dropped. You just got there's so many of them, cryptocurrencies out there. Some of them are related, so you might see some correlation in the behavior of each. But for some, I wanted to tell you this is that the recent slide that you've seen from almost over $1,000 in value in the Bitcoin is indicative of what we've been talking about on this closed site is understanding the need to understand some of the fundamental aspects, the components that drive the value of the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like the altcoins up in value, which are the same variables that drive it down. And it's just like I said, it was a cautionary tale. You know how speculation also factors into the equation and the need for you as an investor to treat this financial instrument totally different than what how you would normally treat any other financial instrument. This is basically not the traditional instrument that you become accustomed to, where you could just look at a few things here and there as far as market information, rely on some of the traditional investors and comments and things of that sort. Some of these guys that run hedge funds and a lot of these guys who are financial specialists, and they really don't know. You need to be technical. You need to be technical in some respects. You need to understand. You don't have to be an engineer, but you need to understand some of the basic tenets of what makes this technology actually digitized technology actually work. So I was thinking about some things that I ran across. I had some conversations over the weekend with respects to cryptocurrencies, and I found a very good analogy and how we talked about quality. And I say you can't base it on like gold, which has a luster. You have to you have to evaluate this currency or this financial instrument based on other factors. And I think I mentioned about algorithms, hash algorithms, the type of network that you have, and mainly the developers that you have, and whether or not they'll stay long term to help develop the currency. Through pitfalls like you've just witnessed this weekend, it's going to happen. But I thought personally that the value was chiefly driven up by speculation at that particular time. I mentioned that several times before. Hope you guys paid attention to it. But it's a lesson to be learned there. I was watching, as I stated before, I was watching a video, watching some movies or so when I had some time, and was speaking, got in a conversation with someone, and we were talking about the sliding of the currency, and all of a sudden I was watching this show on automobiles, and we talked about limited production vehicles. In particular, we're talking about the hypercars that are coming out now. And the guy said, one of the commentators stated that, he said, if you're going to invest in like a Bugatti Veyron, some of the 918 Porsches, these couple of $1 million vehicles, and the first question that one of these ultra rich guys that represent these companies that find buyers for these vehicles, specialty items, the first question he stated that he would ask is, how's your playing game going? Your playing game. And meaning that if you understand what he's alluding to, is the fact that if you're going to purchase a car that's $3 million, you need to have a plane as well. So it gave me this idea. He's like, well, what's a relationship? And then some people in the discussion said, what's a relationship? But a lot of folks caught it. It was like, oh, I got it. If you're gonna invest in this type of financial vehicle, then you're gonna have to have certain things. You're gonna have to commit to certain behaviors. You're gonna have to commit to certain quality measurements for your investment acumen, meaning that you need to try your best to try to do. It's incumbent upon you to learn more about the technology, that the underlying technologies that drive this coin and other coins forward. You need to understand how each are related to one another. You just can't go in with the traditional mindset like you invested in GE, which you see is faltering right now. It used to be the most diversified stock in the entire world. And it's an old blue chip. And I've warned about old blue chips too. These companies have been around for over 100 and some years, and they lost most of their value. They are probably not even worth a tenth of what some of these new blue chips are worth. And they've gained more value, market capitalization in the last 20, 30 years, and these companies have done so over 100 and some years. So it lets you know what you're dealing with. There's a lot of volatility that's there too. So, and like with the Bitcoin, it's there too. It exists. So when I'm talking about using that analogy, you need to adopt the right type of mindset when you are investing in this type of financial vehicle. It can be volatile. It can be very rewarding. That's where the risk come into play. But how do you cover your risk? It's through knowledge. And that's what I'm trying to push. A lot of these folks are pushing Bitcoins on social media, and they're taking advantage of your ignorance. And they're taking advantage that you trust them to do the homework. No, you need to do your own homework because they're trying to find the next buyer. You remember, certain aspects of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a whole, not just the Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies as a whole, have been removed by blockchain technology, and that's the third-party verification. You're on your own, and that's not that much regulation. Because it's still not really accepted in the same depth and scope as a traditional currency, as a physical currency. This is digitized. It's virtual. So you guys need to understand there's no protections there except you. So that analogy rings true. You need to understand what you're getting involved in, and you need to graduate up to a higher level of understanding and show a willingness to try to do so. You can't treat this investment like you're treating other investments. It's not the same. It is not the same. And when I was talking about quality, another aspect that goes along with automobiles, and we got into this long discussion about, and we was like, I don't know, I know I love automobiles, and I think some of you guys understand that as well, but we were talking about, another one came up on the same program. I'll let you guys know what program it was, but it was fascinating. And when you're thinking about the assets that people have, these are toys for the very, very rich. These are billionaires. And you learn a lot by watching some of the decisions that they make and how they make their decisions. They're not going to buy that car unless they have, mostly people have 6, 7, 8 cars already. That's a minimum. That's just for even just a Porsche driver. Some of these guys got 30 when you get to another type of car. These guys, when you get to $1 million cars, like you said, these guys have planes. You got to have a plane. And the salespeople will ask you. So they're not just going to sell because it's limited production. They don't have to sell to you. So these guys were like, okay, do you have a plane? Okay. The next thing is, which one has the measurements of quality? like we were talking about with cryptocurrencies and this investment. And the reason why I'm focusing just on cryptocurrencies right now, because it is the apex. I'm glad I'm using that word because it goes along with the name of the show. It's the apex of all financial investments, because it's a game changer. Everybody says it's here to stay, no matter what you see. Even people lose money. People lose money all the time. But, it's a game changer. And it's dragging along all the technologies that's going to change everything else, including employment. So I say that to say is that when you're measuring quality, you got to look at not just the limited supply. You also have to look at the maintenance. And you can deliver quality not just by looks, but you can deliver quality by the lack of a need for regular maintenance. And that's what the 918 is different from the other type of quality vehicles. And that's it. So